Okay, let's get started. Welcome to stage management, guys. Next slide. So in a typical show, people obviously see the stage to enjoy the show. For stage managers, you'll normally find us working from the lighting booth where we have a good view of the stage and our script to make sure that everything's going well and that, there's not anything that looks like it can go horribly wrong. Next slide. So as I explained before, a stage manager's main job is to facilitate the production process. So our responsibilities include being present at all rehearsals. We set up production meetings to discuss plans with designers and directors. And we run the backstage cast and crew and anything that oversees the production process. Next slide. Stage managers usually keep a binder or a prompt book, and what's in it is basically all the necessary paperwork and other materials so that we can find any information that we would need throughout the production process. So in my prompt book and kind of like the basic things in one is usually the script and cast information, so our attendance sheets and signing it, like where people sign in and sign out, notes, and design information, as you can see on the tabs on the right side of the picture. Yeah, next slide. So the rehearsal process consists of fast-paced blocking, mini diagrams, and line notes, all of which the stage managers keep track of. Next slide. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that those are examples of blocking notes. And as you can see, everything is shorthanded. So for this show, ORL would stand for the characters, like the shorthand of the character's name, Orlando. And things like downstage right would be denoted as DSR. And the reason for these shorthands is so that we can take quick notes, because we don't want to hold up a rehearsal because the stage manager can't keep up with what's happening. So the quick notes are a way for us to be able to track everything, but also not to hinder the rehearsal process. And on the right-hand side, sometimes we use mini diagrams, normally provided by the set designers as well, so that we can trace the movement if there's a lot more to write down, as you can see by those dashed lines.
And yeah, everyone, if you look, that the diagram is a floor plan, as we talked about before, so that would also have to be in scale.
Yeah. And we have line notes. Admittingly, we didn't do this for our last few shows, but line notes are basically where we keep track of when an actor says a line wrong, usually more than once. So then we don't, as we've said before, we don't want to hinder the rehearsal process. So when this happens, we just write it down so that we can let the actors know at the end of that run that they need to check that line again. And we provide them with the correct line for it. Then we come to tech week, dry tech, also known as paper tech, and then actual tech week, or actual tech rehearsal, and our first dress and running over cues. Next slide. So this would be an example of what would happen during a paper tech or dry tech meeting. So this is when the stage manager and designers all come together and we go through the script and mark down every cue that we have. So for the provided slide, this is an example of noting down lighting cues. And we don't have to be like precise with where the cues are, because this is still like a rough outline, but it gives the stage managers and lighting crew all the, like, I guess, kind of just like preparing them for that specific area. So when we go into a tech rehearsal, then we can work out the minor details, like timing to the second and all that stuff. Yeah. And for tech week or tech weekend, whatever time is tech, the stage manager and the designers set up their workspaces so that they can design the show as the audience would see it. And the stage manager will be running tech, going through every technical cue and making sure it works right and making sure the timing is right and all that good stuff. So this would be an example of what you would see in a stage manager's final script. So they would mark down where a cue would be good, where there would be a standby to let the sound or fly or lighting crew know when to get ready to play a cue. And they would also mark down when the cue should be executed. So in this example, the standby would be a little above or a few lines before that going that's underlined. And when the stage manager and all the crew hears that going, then they would know that that's their cue to basically change the lights, play a sound, or cut a sound, whatever the like cue stands for. And for the show, cast and crew checklist, and of course, the most important thing, staying calm. So for cast and crew, the stage manager keeps track of attendance to make sure who shows up to rehearsal and who didn't, and to make sure everyone is here on time. And yeah, there's not much to say about attendance, just making sure that everyone's here because we need everybody. And we have the checklist. The checklist would be, it's just a typical show run checklist. So before the show, what would we need to do? Like, would someone need to bring in the legs of the legs? Would someone need to bring in the psych? Would someone need to sweep the stage? And it's just a list of everything that you have to do before the show. And you also have what you have to do during intermission and what you have to do after the show, so post-show. This would be an example of everything you'd have to do. Yeah. And staying calm, the most important thing in my opinion. So since you're the stage manager, it's kind of a running thing where if someone sees the stage manager running, that you know that something is wrong. So everyone's like mood and attitude towards the show kind of depends on you, since you're the one overseeing everything. So it's important to stay calm so that everyone can also pick up on that and know that it'll be okay. As long as you communicate your issues and remedy the problem, then it'll all run smoothly. You do not need to panic. And yeah, these are some stress managements for you, not only useful backstage and as a stage manager, but in daily life too. Yeah. Another important thing is that there's no one specific way to be a stage manager. You don't have to follow the same rigid like paperwork organization style. Personally, all my shorthands do not really match the ones that are standard. So it is okay as long as you can interpret your own notes and provide people with the information that they need, then you can do like what works best for you as a stage manager, as long as other people can follow along as easily. And yeah, that is it. If anyone have questions. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, cool. So thank you so much, Nhi, for talking about stage management. So yeah, for everyone who's currently here, there will not be a project for stage management. This is just a fun thing to know about, and we highly recommend that you do learn more about it.